Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis and breaking news. Swiss and Norwegian central bank discloses owning over $64 million in MicroStrategy stock. That's right, central banks are already buying BTC. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser, regarding him explaining how everything is going to zero against Bitcoin on the Alex Jones show, he says, if you cannot steal somebody's wealth through violence because Bitcoin is unconfiscatable, you could only approach people with the intention of fair trade, and that demonetizes violence. Preach. We'll also be discussing the first leveraged MicroStrategy ETF officially launches in the United States, as well as Marathon Digital buys $249 million worth of Bitcoin. Reserves reach 25,000 BTC. We'll also be discussing the U.S. government's $590 million Silk Road Bitcoin transfer to Coinbase, unlikely to be sold, according to this analyst. We'll also be discussing historical study predicts Bitcoin will hit $164,000. I'll be breaking down the timeline. We're also going to be discussing Bitcoin reaching 1 million soon if inflation increases. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important, smash the likes, hit the bell icon, then turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every day like this. It's important to hit that bell icon, turning on notifications, because we stream live at different times. And if you don't have notifications turned on, you won't know exactly whenever I go live. So very important. Today is pod episode 1731. I'm your host, JV. It is August 15th, 2024. Happy Thursday. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Bitcoin back in the green, which is a nice look. You can see Bitcoin just shy of 59,800 on Coin360. We have Ether also barely back in the green, just under 2,700. Solana, Tron, and Cardano in the green as XRP and AVAX are correcting and in the red. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap sits at $2.11 trillion with 62 billion in volume for the past 24 hours, and Bitcoin dominance 56% even, with the Ether dominance 15.2%. And shout out to CoinMarketCap for fixing their site and putting it back the way it used to be, because their update really sucked. So yeah, now you can see the information all at the top. Or did I speak too soon? It just updated. It went back to the other way I hate. But nonetheless, I digress. Checking out top 100. Gainers in the past 24 hours, we got Phantom leading the pack, followed by Aave, eCash, and Arweave. Below that, Gala, Litecoin, and Ordi. Which alts, if any, fam, are you guys bullish on? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective on the day and the market. I'd say roughly 30% in the green, maybe 70% still in the red, correcting. Zooming out on the monthly. Not looking so pretty here. Roughly 90% of the market, wreck city. So as you can see, and checking out the crypto greed and fear index today, we're at 29 in fear. I believe once we tap 25, that's extreme fear. So we're so close. Yesterday was a 30. Last week it was a 20 in extreme fear, right before we had a nice recovery. And last month a 65. In greed. So there you have it. But yeah, let's dive right into today's technical analysis. Let's check out some of the charts and what's popping. Headline here reads, Bitcoin sell pressure may break 56,000 support as options expiry looms. That's right. The upcoming crypto options expiry is threatening to add a significant amount of Bitcoin sell pressure that can take the price below another key support level. Over 1.4 billion worth of Bitcoin options are set to expire August 16th, 8 a.m. That's tomorrow morning. According to Deribit, this sets Bitcoin's max pain point to 60,000, right at that psychological level, which indicates the price at which most option contracts would expire worthless. However, according to Cointelegraph data, Bitcoin fell over 3.6% during the past 24 hours to trade at 58,000 as of 8:30 a.m. This means that the 1.4 billion worth of options will expire and introduce more downside volatility unless Bitcoin can stage a recovery above 60 Gs, which we're roughly $200 away from, ironic enough. That's the line in the sand. Periods close to options expiry generally bring more price volatility into the crypto market. So could Bitcoin ETFs help boost the Bitcoin price recovery? Absolutely. Inflows into the US spot Bitcoin ETFs were positive for 2 consecutive days, but then turned negative again on August 14th, as of yesterday, with net outflows exceeding 81 million, according to Farside data, as you can see on your screen. Now, the favorable CPI reading could catalyze more inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs. According to Bitfinex analysts who shared the following, the favorable CPI data is expected to catalyze further inflows. Investors are likely positioning themselves to benefit from the expected rate cut and the potential for a broader market rally. As a result, we might observe continued and possible accelerated inflows into these ETFs, reflecting a shift in sentiment towards risk-on assets. Now, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported July CPI data on August 14th, yesterday, showing annualized price increases for consumers of 2.9%. Wow, they got inflation under control. Fantastic. Which marks the slowest rate increase since 2021. We all know they fudged the numbers. That's why I'm saying it sarcastically. ETF inflows can significantly contribute to the crypto's price appreciation. For Bitcoin, ETFs accounted for about 75% of new investments into Bitcoin by February 15th, as it surpassed the 50,000 level, which I recall being on February 12th, the day after my birthday. Bitcoin can dip below 56,000 before amassing more upside momentum. Based on the market sentiment around the Bitcoin whales, who are the larger holders, Bitcoin is likely heading to the 56,000 support, according to a post by Trade Confident crypto research platform, who shared, based on the current market indicators, we are looking at 56,000 for Bitcoin's next move. However, we're on the cusp of reclaiming 60,000, so keep that in mind. Now, another analyst shared the following. Now the price of Bitcoin is expected to reach the next demand zone of 56. When Bitcoin price comes near the 56 zone, we'll try for a long. So there you have it, yo. And in other news, Swiss and Norwegian central bank discloses owning over 64 million worth of MicroStrategy stock, as the central banks are already officially buying the biddy, getting the ETF exposure. And quoting Max Kaiser from recent interview on Alex Jones, if you cannot steal somebody's wealth through violence, or let me rephrase again, if you cannot steal somebody's wealth through violence because Bitcoin is unconfiscatable, you could only approach people with the intention of fair trade, and that demonetizes violence. So that's how Bitcoin demonetizes violence. There's a real life example. And now let's check out some of the live charts. Here we're looking at the monthly. Let's zoom into the 1 hour, and then we'll work our way out. This is brought to you by TradingView via Coinbase. You can see there's a rectangle formation going on right now. You can see there's a couple of targets on the 1 hour chart. We got one sitting at 66, roughly $200 away from where we're at. And we do have a target south sitting all the way down at 53.4 on the 1 hour chart. We're going to zoom out a little more, get a broader perspective. Here's the 4 hour chart. On the 4 hour, you can see quite a few different targets. The one most north is currently just above 66,000, very similar to the one on the 1 hour. And then we also have a target sitting a little lower than that as well. Let's see here. I'm sorry, that was 66,000. I'm thinking 60, same as the hourly, but 66,000. That's pretty lit. And we also have a target sitting all the way down at 53,000. And then zooming out a little further, we'll check out the 1 day. Again, this is live and in the flesh. Look at that, almost what is that called? Almost had a God candle, that big green candle you see after we tapped the bottom of 49. We call that a demigod. It was over 5,000 on the daily chart. But anyways, this is the daily chart. You can see right here. We do got a green candle forming, so hopefully we can continue with that and climb back above that 60,000 psychological resistance. And on the 1 week, typically the most bullish chart, we still have that massive cup and handle target sitting at $125,500. Let me know if you feel that cup and handle target is in play for this particular year of 2024. Do you think we'll hit 6 figures, clear that target? Let me know your thoughts. But anyways, next story of the day. This is a big story I saw in the headlines. The first leveraged MicroStrategy ETF launches in the US. That's right. They've officially launched a leveraged MicroStrategy ETF. Very interesting, right? The first Bitcoin-related leverage ETF has debuted in the U.S. in another significant development for institutional crypto adoption. Can you say FOMO? The new leveraged MicroStrategy ETF, which is MSTX, seeks to provide 175% long daily targeted exposure to MicroStrategy. The ETF could help offer more leverage exposure to Bitcoin, according to Sylvia, the CEO of Defiance ETFs, who said in an August 15th announcement earlier today, "We're amplifying the potential for investors seeking long leverage exposure to Bitcoin. Given MicroStrategy's inherent higher beta compared to Bitcoin, MSTX offers a unique opportunity for investors to maximize their leverage exposure to the Bitcoin market within an ETF wrapper." That's right. Now, ETF inflows can significantly contribute to a crypto's price appreciation. For Bitcoin, ETFs accounted for about 75% of the new investment in the crypto by February 15th as it surpassed the $50,000 mark. Now, MicroStrategy outperformed 499 out of 500 in the S&P 500. In fact, just keeping it 100, MicroStrategy even outperformed Bitcoin since the past 4 years since they adopted it as a strategic reserve asset. So MicroStrategy is one of the first publicly traded companies to hold Bitcoin on the balance sheet. In fact, I believe it is the first. Correct me if there was another first I'm not aware of. The company has outperformed 99% of the firms in the S&P 500, according to an August 11 post by Michael Saylor. Here's what he shared. 4 years ago today, MicroStrategy adopted Bitcoin as its primary treasury reserve asset. Since then, MSTR has outperformed 499 of 500 stocks in the S&P. I mean, numbers don't lie. Look at this. The top 10 performing stocks in the S&P 500. And clearly, Super Micro shows 1,584%. I have no clue what that company is. I've never heard of it before, but damn, that's pretty impressive. Below that, we have MicroStrategy at 995%. You can see in the orange. We have NVIDIA, 838%, a multi-trillion-dollar market cap company. We got Targa Resources, 564%. Artista, 504%. Eli Lilly, 483. Builders First Source, 460%. Quanta, 439. Howmet, up 420. Happy 420 family. And Marathon Petroleum, up 374%. Those are the top 10 performing stocks. Now, the new leverage ETF could generate significant interest amongst investors due to the MicroStrategy stock attractive price performance, which outperformed Bitcoin during the past months. During the past 6 months, MicroStrategy shares rose over 70%, while Bitcoin price only rose 13%, according to this data from Bitstamp. Now, due to the risky nature of leverage investments, the fund is not targeted towards retail, but more sophisticated investors, according to the DeFinance announcement, who share here. The fund is not suitable for all investors. The fund is designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors, such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. And quoting Balchunas, the Bloomberg ETF analyst, it'll be the most volatile ETF you can get in the U.S. market, edging out MSOX 2X weed. A big step in the hot sauce arms race. So there you have it. A big step in the hot sauce arms race. How many of you are bullish on MicroStrategy? Maybe you have exposure to MicroStrategy, or how many of you planning on any of you sophisticated investors going to be tapping into the first levered ETF, trading option, which is MicroStrategy? Let me know your thoughts there, yo. So, but anyways, fam, next stream of the day, the next story of the day. Let's discuss a little deeper into Marathon Digital. They officially pulled the trigger and purchased 249 million worth of Bitcoin and now hold 25,000 BTC. Pretty wild, right? So Bitcoin miner, Marathon Digital. How many of you have exposure to any of the Bitcoin miners? Let me know. They just officially purchased another 249 million worth of Bitcoin after raising 300 million from a senior note offering. On August 14th, the miner said it used part of the note sale proceeds to buy around 4,144 BTC at an average price of roughly 59,500, which brought its strategic Bitcoin reserve to over 25,000 BTC. Marathon saw net proceeds of around 292 million for its convertible senior notes due in September of 2031, which bear a 2.125% annual interest rate. Not too shabby. It's almost like borrowing money for free. And are convertible into cash, Marathon stock, or both, as Marathon shared the official announcement on X. Marathon secures 300 million through an oversubscribed offering of convertible senior notes. And this play, we call it the Michael Saylor put. He pretty much copied what MicroStrategy does. With proceeds, we purchased 4,144 BTC, worth $249 million, boosting our strategic Bitcoin reserve to over 25,000 BTC. Marathon said the remaining cash from the note sales would be used to buy more Bitcoin and for general corporate purposes, possibly including strategic acquisitions. Now, a Marathon spokesperson shared that the company believes Bitcoin is the premier strategic treasury asset and is adopting a multifaceted strategy for acquiring the biddy. In the latest Bitcoin hoard, it comes after it purchased 2,282 BTC in July for $124 million, which Marathon CEO and chairman Fred Krueger said was part of their HODL strategy. And we all know HODL be thy name, right? Marathon shares closed down 2.26% on the day to $15. Its share price is now down 34% year to date, according to Google Finance, as you can see here. And earlier in August, Marathon's second quarter earnings missed the Wall Street estimates. It posted revenues of $145 million, which were 9% lower than estimated, but still enjoyed a 78% year-over-year bump from quarter two of 2023. It comes as crypto mining profitability has hit a record low after the Bitcoin halving, which occurred April 19th, which cut mining rewards in half. Miner hash price, which measures the mining profits, fell to a record low in early August. Blockbridge reported that the large public miners, especially Marathon, which had the highest all-in mining costs in August, will struggle to make a profit. So there you go, yo. You already know smart money is accumulating the biddies like there is no tomorrow. 25,000 Bitcoin now on the balance sheet for Marathon Digital after that recent $249 million Bitcoin purchase. Next story, yo. We discussed Marathon Digital's massive buy. Now let's discuss that Bitcoin that just moved from the U.S. government that caused, I believe, the drop from yesterday when we were 61,000 in the morning. We dropped to 59 like that. It was as soon as the U.S. government moved roughly 10,000 Bitcoin from Mt. Gox to Coinbase. But check this out. U.S. government's 590 million Silk Road Bitcoin transfer to Coinbase is unlikely to be sold, at least according to this analyst. So let's be hopeful here. Let's see. The U.S. government transferred nearly 600 million worth of Bitcoin to Coinbase, but it is unlikely to transform it into selling pressure. The U.S. government transferred 10,000 Bitcoin, I believe that was yesterday, worth over 593 million. Well, it says on August 15th today, according to this source, the Bitcoin was sent to a Coinbase Prime deposit wallet, according to on-chain analytics firm Arkham Intelligence. So despite the initial concerns, the Bitcoin is unlikely to be sold, according to Ryan Lee, chief analyst at BitGet Research. So if the U.S. government dumps this Bitcoin, we blame Ryan Lee because he's claimed they're unlikely to sell it. Quoting him here. This does not mean that the 10,000 Bitcoin has already been sold. Last month, the U.S. Marshal Service, an agency under the U.S. Department of Justice, announced a partnership with Coinbase Prime to safeguard and trade the large digital assets. Now, I don't know if Coinbase Prime has any relation to Optimus Prime. That's a joke for my Transformer youngins out there. But anyways, whales can have a significant impact on the Bitcoin price. Investors often follow the transactions of the large hodlers to gauge potential incoming selling pressure. Now, August's agreement between Coinbase and the US DOJ could signal an intention to trade the large market cap cryptos like the BTC. However, the government may have simply transferred the assets for safe custody, not active trading, according to Lee. Quoting him here. After all, Coinbase is the primary custodian for the U.S. ETFs, and it is a possibility that the U.S. government entrusted the Bitcoin to Coinbase for safekeeping. Moreover, a nearly 600 million sale is unlikely since it would have a drastic impact on the Bitcoin due to the current market liquidity. Quoting him again. Based on the current price performance, while there is a possibility of it being sold in the market, it is not very likely. So at least he's keeping it real and saying he don't think it's going to happen, but there's absolutely a probability they can sell it. So that's 100. The U.S. is currently the largest geopolitical Bitcoin holder, a point recently highlighted by Trump. If elected, he promised not to sell any of the U.S. government's Bitcoin holdings. Let's go. The recently transferred 10,000 biddies were originally seized during the Silk Road raid back in 2022 when the DOJ announced seizing 50,000 BTC from the dark net marketplace. I don't know if they meant 2012 because 2022 seems too recent for Silk Road hack. So I don't know. There seems to be some errors in this article. But nonetheless, at the beginning of April, the U.S. government transferred $2 billion worth of Bitcoin seized from Silk Road in the first significant on-chain movement of the funds since their seizure. The Silk Road marketplace, defunct now for more than 10 years, since 2014, allowed users to buy and sell illicit goods, including weapons, drugs, and stolen credit card information. U.S. authorities arrested its creator, Ross Ulbricht, in 2013. He's currently serving 2 life sentences because 1 life sentence just wasn't enough without the possibility of parole. Now, pretty wild. Now, of course, Trump has come out and said if he is elected president, he will pardon Ross day one on the job. I believe RFK Jr. repeated the same sentiment. So there's some hope. Hopefully, we don't get a certain individual in office that is a Democrat that doesn't allow Ross to get pardoned and doesn't embrace Bitcoin and continues as an enemy of Bitcoin, because we already know the current, what's the term? People controlling the government hate Bitcoin, despise Bitcoin. And there is a war against Bitcoin, if you haven't noticed. Gary Gensler is a part of that war. Miss Yellen is a part of the war. Senator Warren, Miss Pocahontas is a part of the war, right? Kamala is a part of the war. Biden is a part of that war. These are all enemies of Bitcoin. We don't want them in office. Our next story of the day, let's discuss a $164,000 target. Then we'll discuss a $1 million target. And then we'll dive into some live Q&A and all that fun stuff. So yeah, this headline reads, historical study predicts Bitcoin to hit $164,000. Let's break down the timeline here. So here we go. The concept used in the analysis is decaying peaks. I believe we touched upon this yesterday as well, referring to the progressively lower returns seen in successive Bitcoin bull runs as the market matures and gains wider acceptance. Bitcoin's going through its adolescence family, puberty. Just saying. This phenomenon is captured through an analysis known as the exponential decay fit, which is employed to evaluate the peaks of Bitcoin's past bull cycles by aligning the historical data points of 2011, 2013, and 2017, which aim to delineate a pattern that could suggest the future price movements. Quoting the analyst here, I wanted to highlight a study looking at the decaying peaks of the Bitcoin price residuals from each cycle. This is what is used to build the decay channel and also the oscillator. Here, I simply did an exponential decay fit of max residuals using the power law model, another model we like to share here on the show. In the study, the analyst applied the model to the 2021 cycle peak, yielding a forecast close to the market behavior. The model predicted a peak of 65,700, closely shadowing the actual peak of 64.6, highlighting the potential reliability of this analytical approach as outlined here in the chart. Now towards 164,000 Bitcoin by next year. Let's break it down. Now extending his analytical framework to the upcoming cycles, he ventured a bold prediction for the 2024-2025 period. The estimation of the decaying peaks model sketches an ambitious trajectory that could see Bitcoin reaching as high as 164 Gs. This projection is based on continuing patterns observed in the Bitcoin past market behaviors. However, caution is required to consider these predictions with skepticism due to the limited data set, considering there's only ever been 4 cycles, and we're just entering the 4th cycle, right? The precise exponential decay of the tops against the power law support is worth taking with a big grain of salt. We only have 4 data points as of now, but this is definitely worth paying attention to as we move through the current cycle. But we'll keep it moving as we continue journeying through this endless Bitcoin odyssey. But anyways, fam, now for our featured story of the day. Bitcoin can soon reach $1 million per coin soon if inflation increases. That's right, according to this headline right here. And in fact, the analyst Fred Krueger, I'm going to share with you his post. Bitcoin is like a giant call option on inflation. If the system can hold together for another 4 years with little to no inflation, we'll probably hold at power law trend line, plus or minus 1 standard deviation. So he's ultimately projecting Bitcoin hits between $150,000 to $300,000 or so. But if we cut rates, print, and then get another big bout of inflation, which in my opinion is the more likely scenario, let me know your thoughts. Bitcoin is then going to the moon with 1 million inside of the next presidential cycle. I'm going to reread that. If we cut rates, print, and then get another big bout of inflation, Bitcoin is going to the moon. 1 million inside of the next presidential cycle. Either way, the odds on the bet are amazing. I couldn't agree more. So his bear sentiment is 150 to 300,000. That's if they have inflation under control, which we know is nothing more than FUD. There's no way you can control inflation when you're printing insane amounts of money with that money printer, right? And when you have a $35 trillion deficit. So we know they're going to continue to print, and we know the system is not going to hold it together for another 4 years. Would you agree with that? Yay or nay? Let me know, and I'm going to read you the actual article here. And let me make sure you guys can read this. I know you're cut off in the very beginning, but you should be able to see the majority of the words. Amid the ongoing Bitcoin price volatility, a popular figure in the crypto community, Freddy Krueger, remember Nightmare on Elm Street? Different Freddy Krueger, has made a bold prediction for the biddy, saying that the value of Bitcoin could reach $1 million sooner than we expect. The statement has sparked discussion amongst the crypto community, and notably, this is not the first time we've gotten $1 million prediction. In fact, virtually every show I share with you almost $1 million prediction, do I not? The price of Bitcoin has fallen just below 60,000, but we're on the cusp of reclaiming it, less than $500 away right now. So yeah, Fred Krueger explained the conditions that can trigger an upsurge, shooting the price of Bitcoin to heights never seen before, according to the post that I just read to you. He compared Bitcoin to a giant call option on inflation, suggesting Bitcoin has an inflation cap, and he opined that the Bitcoin price can hover within that range of 150 to 300,000 for another 4 years if the economy holds stable with little or no inflation. Now, what is stock to flow share? Plan B's infamous model. It shows Bitcoin hovering above 500,000 on average per coin over the next 4 years. So keep that in mind. Conversely, he stressed that if the Fed cuts the interest rates, which is likely to happen in September as per the previous reports, and print more, the economy will witness another explosion of inflation, and the price of Bitcoin will go on its way to the moon within the next presidential cycle. Let me know if you agree. Now, interestingly, this prediction adds to the heap of other bold predictions forecasting Bitcoin to reach 1 million in the coming years, and a report by Coinfomania. The global investment firm Bernstein predicted Bitcoin's value will reach 200,000 per coin in 2025 and rise to 500,000 per coin by 2029 and reach an impressive 1 million by 2033. However, this forecast suggests Bitcoin will reach this level later than Krueger's expectation. And earlier this year, we had market analyst BitPain also gave his analysis on how Bitcoin can achieve the 1 million price feat over the next 5 years. His analysis draws base from Bitcoin mining operations, stating that about 750,000 BTC would be mined within this period. Citing historical movements, he noted about 20 to 30% of the existing Bitcoin supply will be available for sale in the bull market. Quoting him here, I tend to think it'll be lower than the prior cycles, maybe 10 to 15% for many reasons. The long bear we have just exited, the rise of the maxi hodler, and the death of crypto as an asset class, and the emergence of Bitcoin as a treasury class asset. That's right. As Bitcoin game theory continues, the United States may be adopting Bitcoin as a strategic treasury reserve asset, at least according to Trump and RFK Jr. if they're elected. Now, considering this, he opined about 2 to 6 million biddies will enter the market, increasing circulation to 2.7 to 6.75 million. The anticipated surge in price will be catalyzed by an influx of institutional funds into the Bitcoin market, guessing that about 1 to 5 trillion will be pumped into the market between this year and 2029. So there you have it, yo. Let me know your thoughts surrounding the bullish prediction from Fred Krueger. Do you think we will likely continue to print like a mofo? The system will explode and send Bitcoin to the moon at $1 million or more for this specific presidential cycle? Holla at your boy and let me know, and I'll read your comments out loud. Family, everyone, welcome to the Q&A segment of the live show.